Hello and welcome to another Blender tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to import, texture, and rig up a source filmmaker model into Blender. Today we are going to be using the Mercy model, and I choose this one specifically because if I go over here you can see that there is transparency right here on the kind of the glowy part of the wings. And that also, I believe that these wings have emissions on them. And uh, that's just those are the two main things that you need to know when like texturing. And also, it's just a regular, biped, bipedal model. So, uh, I go to SFM Lab to get all the Source Filmmaker models. You could also get them from the community workshop. Um, it's more of a pain in the butt to get them from the community workshops because you need to go to your source filmmaker folder and like find them. But whatever. This is probably the best place to get the models. You can click, whichever server is closest to you. Click on it, and you'll download um, a little RER file or zip file or whatever. And shouldn't take too long. It takes a couple seconds. And then when you open it, you'll see that you have a um, couple of different folders here. You will have a models, materials, and sometimes you'll have script. And script is unimportant because that is the the script they use to rig up a model in SFM. And since we are not using SFM, this will not work with for us. And so you'll just want to drag and drop these onto the desktop. I already have them as you can see right here, so I'm just going to close this off. And we're gonna get the textures. So I'm gonna just quickly open up the folder. And I'm gonna make a Mercy textures. And this is useful just so that we have, I'm sorry, this is useful just so that we have all the textures in one area. So we don't have them on our desktop or like all of them in one textures folder. And for this, you're actually going to need a couple of different things. So you're going to need Crowbar, you're going to need VTF Edit, and you're going to need an add-on in Blender called Source Tools, I think. I'm just going to type it in real quick. So Source Tools, okay. And so those are going to be the things that you need to really download. And so these things you absolutely need. For the actual texturing, I'm going to be using a Pbr shader, and that will just help me so that I don't have to kind of get the diffuse and the glossy and all that, all these different shaders and try to mix them together. It's just all these shaders put into one, and there's a tutorial that I think Blender Cookie made. If I find that, I'll also put that in the description, and that will really help give you a realistic look on your model, so that the reflections are realistic, as good. It just uses like the Fresnel kind of reflections, and that's more realistic than uh, what Blender gives you with just the diffuse and the glossy. And so as you see here, I opened up the textures. Here, I'll just show you again because I was kind of rambling. You go to materials. There's only one folder that you just click through, but Met's SFM uses a couple different folders because they have like shared textures. Though you don't really need all those extra textures, so just find your way until you see like the eye and the hair and the body textures and stuff like that, because that's what you really want. So once you get to here, you're going to want the VTF files, which are the valve texture files. VTF right here, and they're usually I believe they're the bigger ones. These ones are all 1 kilobyte. These ones are like 5,000. So it's going to be the bigger ones, which actually have the textures on them. And so I'm going to go to Mercy Diffuse. And as you can see, this is what the texture looks like if I zoom out a couple of times. And so to convert all of these, because right now you can't use these in Blender. VTF don't work in Blender as far as I know. And so we're going to convert this entire folder. So I did this a little bit earlier, but I go. This is my this folder right here. So if you see it's the desktop goes all the way to this Mercy texture, and there's also a Devil Mercy uh, kind of side texture. So it's like the different Devil version is just a different skin. So if I click on this one and I convert this one, it'll convert all the textures underneath it. So it's going to convert the Mercy and the Devil Mercy. So that's good. And then the output texture is just this Mercy texture folder on my desktop. And so we're going to convert it as a JPEG. And after it's done, it'll take like a second. After it's done, we're going to want to convert it as a PNG as well. And the reason we want to do two of them is because JPEG doesn't have any transparency, but PNG does. And you might think, why not just use PNG, Alan? Why would you use both PNG and JPEG? That seems kind of redundant. Now I have two of every texture. You're using up more space. What are you doing, Alan? But the reason I use PNG and JPEG, and right here, first texture is the eye texture, and this shows exactly why. The eye texture shouldn't have any transparency, but sometimes it does anyway. For some reason, just the way it is, I think Source Filmmaker uses makes eyes work differently or something like that. So as you can see, there's a transparency in the center of the eye, and when you use this texture for the eye, it's not going to work. You're going to be like, why is there a black hole in the middle of the eye? And that's why. And also, if you look at the normal map for the hair normal map has a transparency in it, and it should not. Normal maps, for no reason, should ever have transparency in them, and they should always be solid. The only reason you need transparency is for right here, as you can see, the wings have transparency on them, and also the hair sometimes. I don't think this one has any transparency, but especially for the wings, for this model specifically, it has transparency. And I've been rambling for a little while now, so we'll just go and we'll import the model. And so this is going to be a two-part video. The first one, I don't want it to be too long because I end up rambling on forever and ever. So for the first part, I'll import the model. I'll make sure I'll get the size correct, and I'll get the textures on the model. And then the next part, we'll do all the rigging because that's the long part, and that's the part you're probably going to want to watch most. This first part is just so you can see how to set everything up in the beginning. So I have oh, oops, let's not open up Blender yet because I only converted the textures. I didn't actually decompile the model. Sorry guys, don't get too angry with me. So you're just going to click right here, browse, and I'll go to my desktop and I'll show you exactly how to get to that point. So we'll go to models, Mats SFM, Overwatch. Just keep on going down the list until you find the MDL file. Find the MDL file, just click OK or whatever. And then you want to set the path to wherever you want the decompiled version to go. Right now I have it set to my meshes folder. This is where I have all my meshes. I need to organize that later, but right now I'm doing a video, so I have it set there. And all you need to do is click decompile. The rest of these settings, I believe, should all be default. I think maybe I have one of these checked, though it doesn't matter in the end. Yeah. Just leave this at default. It should be fine. Okay, I have folder for each model. I think that's what I have checked. And that just makes it so that all the files aren't all over the place, so that every model gets individual folder. So that's the only thing I have checked. You don't need to check that if you don't want, but that's just so we don't have confusion in the future. So we have our scene. I got rid of the cube and the lights and stuff like that. So we'll set it to cycles, because that's what I always use. I'll turn on screencast keys so you can see what I'm clicking. And we'll open up the node editor because that's how we will edit the textures. And we'll make sure to set that to material instead of animation nodes, because I have the animation nodes add-on, and so automatically goes to animation nodes. I don't know why. So we'll click import, and right here this is going to be the source engine import, and we'll import SMD, VTA, DMX, and QC. And so I'll go to my meshes, and Mercy is right here. As you can see, there's a lot of SMDs, VTAs. You're going to want to click this QC file right here, And I'm moving around a lot. I don't know why I'm jiggling around in my chair. My chair's being a little bit weird. Um, but it's fine. It's just loading up the model. Warning, SMD only supports 128 bones. Okay, so I guess this model has a lot of bones. So that error shouldn't mess us up too much. Though that usually means, if you get errors, that usually means that uh, there will probably be a little bit of error that you'll need to fix manually later on. My chair's bending back far too much. So, as you can see, there's a lot of bones, and I'll just move that to the layer below. But you can see that there is two models put on top of each other, and that's because this Mercy model had a Devil Mercy skin, and they were both imported at the same time. So, this shouldn't take too long. I just need to get rid of all the Devil Mercy parts. So anything with the word, excuse me, I just burped, anything with the word devil in it, we'll just click hide, click H to hide it. Devil skirt, hide that. The tail, obviously hide that. Uh, devil wings, the devil back part, and devil horns, and devil hair. And I honestly prefer the Devil Mercy look to the regular Mercy, but I want to show off the Specular Map and how that can work and help you a lot because Devil Mercy does not have the Specular Map. Oops, I believe I got rid of all the Devil Mercy parts. Alright, here, the Devil Mercy eyebrows. I gotta get rid of that. And Devil Mercy earrings. Okay, now I think I got rid of everything. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move this Mercy model over here. Click Alt H to unhide. Here's all the Devil Mercy parts. Just gonna delete those because I don't need them. And then I'll move this back to the first layer. And if you don't use the layers, you might want to get used to those because they're actually really useful for moving stuff around and kind of not having everything in one area clogging stuff up. So now we're going to get to texturing, and after that I'll end the video and I'm going to immediately start the next one, and I'll probably upload both videos back to back. So I'll just select the main body and click this, and I'll get rid of this views. And like I was saying, I'm going to be using the Pbr shader, and so I'm going to append. I'm going to go to my Blender saves. Right here I have Pbr, go to the node tree, and use this Pbr shader. And like I said, you're going to want, if you don't want to use the Pbr, if you don't know how to make a Pbr shader, Blender Cookie has a great tutorial. I believe it's Blender Cookie. And it's just this group, and it uses Fresnel to use the shading. And it really helps make the model look good because it's all confined and organized and neat, and so you don't have to deal with all the problems that regular diffuse and glossy shaders give you. So we have an image texture here, and this will be our first. First, I forget. Okay, this is the dress. So we're gonna find the dress. So first, we're gonna find our Mercy textures, so you can see where I'm talking about. Okay, right here, Mercy, and as you can see, there is not too many textures here actually. Most of the textures are going to be this one, and then the eye and the hair and the wings are going to use different textures. But that's it. Everything else is going to use this single Mercy diffuse. As you saw, I used the JPEG because I don't want transparency on this. So I'm going to go into material, and as you can see, the material is already added because I put it into the color. And I'll Shift D just to duplicate it. And this will be the normal map, so I'll add the normal map node, normal here, and we're gonna want to select the normal map of this texture. And then, very important, something that I forget sometimes and it kind of annoys me, is this non-color data. You want to switch this from color to non-color. Now plug the color into this blue part here. And now, this is pretty much the basis for every texture that you're going to be using. There'll be slight variations. I just copied this entire thing. So as you can there's no lights. I'm going to add a quick sun lamp just so you could see what the normal map actually does. So I'm just going to quickly do this. Set to 6. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have texture here, and I'm just going to quickly get rid of this. I'm going to see if you can actually see any difference. And there's a slight difference, but you can't really see it too well. And remember how I was talking about how there's a actual specular map. So right here, Mercy S, and this is a specular map. And you probably won't have to worry about this because most source filmmaker maps don't come with a specular. I don't know why. Also set this non-color data, but it's really nice when it does. And so you put the specular into the roughness. If you look right here, so you can see a little bit of bump, and it just applies it just gives it the reflections that it's supposed to. So copy all of this, Control C to copy, and then we'll move to the hands, put in the thing, get rid of it, and click Control V, and that will add this. And so as you can see, the gloves have more gloss than the actual body, and that's what the specular map does. It dynamically applies the colors. And if I put it into, so I'm gonna put this back. If I go to the dress and I flip the color, you can see this is how the specular map works. So I think the darker it is, the more reflection it's gonna have, and the lighter it is, the more diffuse it's gonna have. So this is kind of how it looks. We're gonna put this back to normal. I just want to show that off to you so you can see what exactly I'm talking about. Now I'm just gonna quickly apply the rest of these textures. Like I said, with this model it's pretty quick because you don't really need to do much. Select the wings, good wings, put that in, get the hair, and the hair uses different texture as you can see, and the hair doesn't have it doesn't have the specular map, so we're gonna click hair, JPEG. Normally you'd use PNG, but there's no transparency in this hair, and we're gonna get the normal map for the hair, and it looks pretty good. So now we'll just continue and keep on working on it. Actually, there's a second thing that we need to add here, the hairband. And the hairband also uses the regular texture. We're almost done. Don't worry. After this, I'll be able to start getting to work on the actual rigging. So I just want to get this through. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. Oops. Almost done. And we'll put that there. We'll add the waist guards. And we almost got everything. So now we'll add the weapon, which also doesn't have a specular. So we'll add the weapon fuse and the weapon normal map. And right here, so for this model, this will be the only part that actually use. Oh, actually, we forgot the face. Now this is not the only part that's going to be using a diffuse map because I think the eyelashes use not the diffuse map. Oh, I'm sorry. Use a PNG, so transparency. So the head, the eyebrows. Oops, keep on doing it. Eyebrows, eyelashes, and I think the eyelashes are supposed to be solid like that. So I'm not going to bother with the PNG. Right here, as you can see, the eye uses a different texture. We'll go to eye, and the eye uses this empty bump map. Though it doesn't matter, you honestly don't even need a bump map for the eye. And we'll just do the same thing here. We'll find the eye texture, get rid of the specular map, and use the regular empty bump map. And I think that's pretty much it for this. And now all we need to do is do the glowing part of the wings. And the glowing part of the wings is actually pretty fun. And that is because since they glow, get rid of this normal map real quick, and the specular. So now we just have the diffuse and the other thing, and the Pbr shader. So we'll select the PNG, and you can tell it's the PNG because it has transparency, unlike this one. So we'll select that, and you can go to shader, transparent, and you can put the alpha into the factor. That'll make it so as the transparency goes away, it will switch from the PBR to the transparency. And as you can see, that would already be enough. Though if you actually do want it to glow, you can set this to emission instead. And now it'll actually have glowiness. Though if you turn it up too high, you could see that it actually starts going a little bit too far out. So 10 seem, maybe even 5. That's also pretty bright. So it seems like 5 might be a good amount if you're going to use emission. Though I'm just going to use the regular Pbr shader so it doesn't take too long to render. But that's just so you know, that's how you add the emission. I believe that's pretty much it for the texturing. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to, actually no, I think that's it. That's how you texture the model. That's how you import it and texture it. And I'll see you in a bit with the final part, which is going to be rigging up the model. And this is going to be the kind of tedious part, but it's worth it in the end so you could actually animate the model. See you in a bit. I'll be right back.